All right, great. Thank you, Alita, for sending this in. You were looking kind of up in this direction. I would have just brought it down. Are you going to tell me about my dad? You have no right to do that. The casting director watching you has to see that. How to act realistically. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Also, if you stay through this first half, in the second half, you're going to see me go and personally review a self-tape that one of our subscribers sent in, and there's going to be a lot that we can learn. So stick to the first half, and then we're going to have an audition in the second half. All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about how you can go and act realistically. And I'm going to be giving you just 1 point to implement, 1 thing to do. That's it. Not 5 things, not 10 things, not 20 things. Let's make it really easy and just do 1 thing. And this is 1 thing that will actually help you. Not something where it's like, oh, can this help me? Or I don't know. This usually helps a lot of actors out. So for acting, in order to act realistically, what do you have to do? You have to be in the moment. And let's not complicate acting and say it has to be anything else at all. Let's just keep it simple in what it is. If you're in the moment of a scene, you're present with the other actor who's with you, the other actors in the room, the story of the scene, everything is working and lining up perfectly. It's almost like a funnel. Everything's going where it needs to go because you're there. So how can I get you to be in the moment, to act realistically? Well, one of the things that really helps a lot, that gets an actor present with their partner, is to go and ask the question of what are you trying to make the other person feel? That's it. You as an actor have to realize if you're trying to make somebody feel happy, the way you talk to them, act to them, look at them is going to be different than if you want to make them feel humiliated. If I want to make you feel like you're not even better than dirt, the way that I'm going to talk to you is going to be completely different than if I want to uplift you and say everything's going to be okay, it's going to be all right. We as human beings in our everyday life already do this. If I want to go and make somebody feel happy or feel good or something went wrong in their life, I'm like, hey, look, everything's going to be okay. Don't even worry about it. I'm going to help you out every step of the way. We do that in our everyday life when we're comforting our best friends. Or if there's somebody that you don't like at all and you don't want them to feel good, then you might tell them, you know what? You don't even know what you're talking about. You think that you're special. You think that you know everything that's supposed to happen in life, but really, you don't know anything. If that's my thought process and my mentality, it's going to affect how I talk to somebody. If I want somebody to feel like, oh, they're special, like they have a really good idea, then the way that my body is even going to be interacting with them might be different. I might lean in a little bit more. I'd be really curious. Yeah, tell me more. Because depending on how we're trying to make another person feel, it affects how we act naturally. You don't have to go and spend 20 minutes in a locked room trying to get into character. You just have to think, what do I want you to feel? Because you already do this in your everyday life. Actors, what they get wrong is they start to think, they're like, okay, how do I go and be somebody completely different and do something completely wild, where acting, all it is bringing real life onto the screen or onto the stage, and you are living out real life every single day, but you choose to not bring it into the work. And that is what's hurting you a lot. So now let me give you a line to work with where you guys are going to pause the video and you're going to try it out for yourself. But let me do it for you, give you 2 examples, and then you can try it. So the line is going to be this. It's going to be, you're really special. And we're going to pick 2 contrasting ideas just so you get the real idea of this. So I'm going to go and look at this person and I'm going to go with the idea of how I want them to feel. I want them to feel humiliated. Like they're nothing special in the world. But my line is, you're really special. So when I look at them and I say the line, I'll say the line like this: you're really special. Because inside, I really don't think they're special at all. And that affects it because that's how I'm trying to make them feel like they're not special. So now if we pick a completely contrasting idea of how I want this person to feel, I'll say the idea of, look, I want this person to feel like they're really special. Like I love them and they're the last person on this earth that I always want to be with. So now when I say the line, I'll say, you're really special. And because I would do anything I want for you and all these things, whatever the next text would be, because the text also helps situate us in what our emotions actually are. But you can see right there, by picking how I want this person to feel, that's how I'm going to act. My body language changes, my facial expressions change, my tonality changes because of this. Now, we're all different, so your versions are going to be different than mine, but I want you to try this out for yourself. So pause the video and give it a try. So if you can incorporate this for yourself, this will get you in the moment. And again, if you're in the moment, then you're going to go and act realistically. All right, so now we made it to the portion of the video where we're going to be taking a look at one of our subscribers' self-tapes that they sent in to us. So this is going to be from Euphoria. This is going to be by the actress Alita. As we go through, just because YouTube doesn't allow any cuss words, they don't like that type of thing, I have to go and take those out, so that's not going to be anything on the actress's part for the editing or anything like that. It's just I had to go and actually take that out just because YouTube doesn't like it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what we think, and we're going to give some of our points at the end. All right, here we go.
I don't believe in God.
Guess what? God doesn't give a f if you believe in him. He believes in you.
That sounds good, but it really doesn't mean anything.
Of course it means something. If God didn't believe in you, you wouldn't even still be breathing.
So you're saying the reason my dad died is because God didn't believe in him?
Rue, that's not what I was saying.
There's nothing that makes me angrier than that f***ing argument.
Hey, that's not what I was saying.
You know, because every time someone survives like a mass shooting or some terrible f***ing earthquake, I survived for a reason. God saved me for a reason, and I have a purpose.
All right, great. Thank you, Alita, for sending this in. So let's go ahead and talk about first the good. What are the things that I liked? What are the things that you should keep doing for yourself for all your future self-tapes? So the things that I liked the lighting. The lighting that you had was great because I can see you. You're very clear and you're here in the frame. I love it. I'm glad that your framing is actually really good too. You're not like too far back and you're also not too far forward. So you did a great job on the framing. You did a great job on the lighting. I also have to mention to all of you is she told me that she's a beginning actress. She's just starting out. So to be just starting out and to have your self-tape look like this is really good. That's really good to be in because again, you're just starting out. The audio that you had for yourself when you were speaking was not so bad. I would suggest maybe boosting it up just a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty darn good. Good job with the background, really nice. It's not distracting. So it's all plain. That means I can just see you and just focus on you. I will suggest for the eyeline, you do have to bring it down. You were looking kind of up in this direction. I would have just brought it down to about right here. So it can be a little bit more level with where your camera's at, and that'll look a little bit more natural and it'll look just nicer for the self-tape in general. Otherwise though, those are the good things that you did, and I like it. The look that you have is really nice. Let's now move on a little bit and talk about what are the things that can be improved on from the technical perspective on what we can improve on. That's going to be the first one, then we'll get into the acting side. For the technical thing that you can do, the other actor, when I was listening to them speak, they were way too loud because they were louder than you.
I don't believe in God.
Guess what? God doesn't...
Anytime you're doing a self-tape and you're going to be sending it in to a casting director, you don't want them to be distracted. When your reader is so loud, how they were in here, it took me out of it. It was really distracting. The other thing that I will say, which is not a tip I usually have to give, but in this case I think I do, your reader needs to try a little bit more. When they were talking, it sounded almost like they were kind of bored.
You believe in him. He believes in you.
Putting a little bit more effort in will make the tape appear a little bit nicer and easier for us to listen to. So your reader just has to try a little bit more. All right, now let's talk about the acting portion of it. What are things with the acting that can be improved for you? One of the things that I think you need to work on a little bit is the text analysis. I do not think you understand this scene fully, because one of the lines that you have for yourself in here is you say that you hate when people go and make that argument, meaning making the argument about God.
There's nothing that makes me angrier than that f***ing argument.
When you're in this scene, you have to realize that your character doesn't believe in God anymore. It's one of the first things that they say.
I don't believe in God.
So already coming into this person is going to be an antagonist to you because they're going to be saying that, no, God keeps people here for a purpose. They keep them here for a reason. That's why you're here. But your character's mentality and how they think of God, they think, but wait a minute, your dad isn't here anymore. So now you're thinking, wait a minute, no. If God really cared about me and he really put us all here for a purpose, then my dad would be here. What are you saying? You saying that my dad doesn't have a purpose? Are you going to tell me about my dad? You have no right to do that. If your character has the perspective that, hey, I don't believe in God anymore, he's not helping me out, don't you ever make the comment, because I hate when people make this type of comment about God and making purpose and all of this. You say it in the text. So we have to go and feel that and see it within this piece. That's why when you go and you make your second comment within the scene, you say,
That sounds good, but it really doesn't mean anything.
You're saying that's good like, oh, okay, well, that's good. But that's not the character's direction. That's not their point of view. They don't think, oh, okay, yeah, that's good that God thinks that. From what they're thinking is, how can you believe this? How can you believe something so pathetic in yourself to say this to me? So when you realize that this is what your character's thinking, it allows you to play in the scene. This doesn't mean that this is what you personally think in your real everyday life, but this is what your character thinks. This is what your character believes. So we have to see that. The audience has to see that. The casting director watching you has to see that. So if you work more on your text analysis and you realize where your characters are coming from, it'll be easier for you as the actor to come from that place. But you first have to have that understanding. And just by watching this piece and not seeing that in there tells me, oh, okay, this actress right now at this current point just doesn't understand this scene fully. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is to remember to keep acting in between the lines, meaning you don't want to just act when you're speaking. When the other person's speaking and the other person's talking to you, you want to make sure that you're listening to them and you're reacting based off of them. Do you agree with what they're saying? Do you not agree with what they're saying? Do you think they're an idiot? Do you think they're smart? What are you thinking in between the lines when you're not speaking? We want to see that. The casting director wants to see that. What is going on internally in this character's head? Because sometimes it seems like you were trying to give something and then you would stop and you pull back and you wait for them to speak. And then you go and you try to say something and then you pull back and wait for them to speak. And that just doesn't help you as an actress. You want to be committed all the way through when you are speaking and when you're just listening. Now, the last thing that I'll say for you is that you can lean into your emotions even more. So your anger can be more angry, your sadness can be more sad. All the emotions that you're trying to have and work with can be more. I could see when you were doing the scene, I could see some of the emotions that you were trying to give, even though if the emotion is wrong, right? Let's say you're in the scene and your text analysis is wrong, okay? It's not what it's supposed to be, but you're fully committing to that. That will appear better than if you're kind of half committing, you're kind of half giving. You can give so much more emotion, percentage-wise of what you're giving right now, into this scene, especially when you have those end lines. When you have the end line, that should be a crescendo happening, going up.
Times someone survives like a mass shooting or some terrible earthquake. I survived for a reason. God saved me for a reason. I have a purpose.
Because now you're listing things off, and usually when you're listing things off, and we do it in our everyday life anyways, we usually crescendo and we get bigger, and you're trying to really make a statement in this point. So really just use that as a crescendo. Grow with that emotion, especially at the end. So thank you so much, Alita, for sending this in. I applaud anybody who's going to go and send in their tapes, because it's not an easy thing to sometimes get critiques and think, oh, okay, I wish I was perfect right off the bat. I wish I was perfect right off the bat all the time. But the thing is, we learn and we constantly grow. So applause to you for going and doing that and putting yourself out there. It was really great to see and get to work with, and I hope these points help you and you can apply them into your future work as you continue to grow and develop as an actor. Also, everybody go and support Alita down below. It's a hard thing to do. Not everybody can go and do this. Not everybody is up for something like this. So go ahead and give her some words of encouragement down in the comment section below. Also, if any of you are wanting to go and send in any self-tapes to me to possibly review on this channel, you guys can go ahead and do so on our Instagram account. Just go ahead and send me a DM with a YouTube link of where I can go and find your video, and then I'll go and check it out. All right, nice talking to you all. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.